Merry Christmas Eve. I'm Stuart Deming with the Nashville Daily Podcast.
And I'm Aaron Pennington.
On today's episode, we are going to highlight some of the biggest announcements for development in 2022.
We'll talk about all of this and more on Nashville Daily. 2022 held a lot of special moments for development here in Nashville. I don't know if 2023 will be as big. So we're going to talk about some of our favorites that have been announced in 2022, or just things that maybe were opened in 2022, or things that we are excited for. Just to kind of recap what it's been like to go through the development season of 2022 from our perspective. Before we do that, today's episode is brought to you by thinkbrad.com. Brad Reynolds is a real estate agent here in Nashville. If you are looking to buy a home here upcoming, Brad Reynolds is actually offering part of your closing costs covered to one lucky person who subscribes to his channel at Think Brad and our channel, Nashville Daily Podcast, and then text him. Let him know you did that. 615-856-3270. Tell Brad you did that. And also head to thinkbrad.com, follow him on Instagram, and let him know you did the thing so you can save this winter.
Yeah. So development in Nashville is a huge topic. We just did an episode probably about a week and a half ago talking about the increase in the GDP of Middle Tennessee. In Davidson County, it was 12.8%.
Davidson County was over. It was 13%. Middle Tennessee was 12 point something percent. It was wild.
And I talked about the GDP to a few people in Texas, and they're like, "What?" And we're like, "Yeah." But
what?
Yeah. But what comes with that is the announcements of all of these incredible developments that may be happening in over the next few years, where they're going to be breaking ground and raising the buildings from basically nothing. We did an incredible series about 2 months ago, and it was Nashville in 2026. And what we did in that series is we looked through different neighborhoods like Germantown, Sobro, Midtown, and we were just showing the development of that's going to be hopefully all built by 2026.
Yeah, cross your fingers.
There's been so many more additional announcements this year on developments all throughout the downtown core and in other areas surrounding Nashville. A few of my favorite, and we'll go a little bit more in depth of these. A few of my favorite has been more of the in-depth announcements of the East Bank.
Yes.
I think this
2022 was the year of the East Bank.
And Nissan and the new Titan Stadium.
Yeah.
That's the primary.
I mean, pretty much all in one. Luckily, those are all encompassing. Luckily, those happened at the same time. Probably not a coincidence. Definitely not a coincidence. But it was the year of the East Bank for sure.
And I think we talked about the East Bank and the new Titan Stadium for at least 70 episodes this year.
Probably,
or even more. You guys can go in the archives and count because I'm not doing that type of work today. But that's a development that's going to be 330 acres. It's massive. There's nothing like this in the entire country that's going to be developed. Developers are eyeballing this. There's going to be huge. 18 buildings over the property of Travel America. It's going to be massive, absolutely massive. Oracle just bought more land over in River North. That's another development that we've talked about in the past.
1.6 acres for
it was like 16
I think
million?
No. It's like $25 or $26 million.
It's a lot of money for a little piece of land, which is crazy. So the East Bank's definitely one of my personal ones. Another personal favorite development that's been announced and where they really dove into the details this year was Paseo South. And this is going to be located in the Gulch, multiple buildings. We'll be talking more a little bit about that here in a second. And then my third favorite development announced was the area of Midtown, basically where the Beeman dealership is, the Subaru dealership is, and where the old Purity dairy plant is.
It was the year for those announcements as well. 2023, I think we'll focus a lot in that area too.
Oh, hands down. But what they're doing with Purity, I think they just announced it was initially going to be 2 skyscrapers, but just in that area alone, they're going to be building 5 or 6 skyscrapers, not including what's happening with the Reed District, which is going to be where the Subaru dealership is. And then that's not including everything with the Beeman dealership. And I take people around Nashville all the time, and I say, "Hey, this is coming, and everyone's like,
and you have to be like, boom, boom, boom,
yeah, literally,
when you're doing that because it's so quick.
And when I take people around, they're like, "How are you going to maintain the infrastructure?" And I said, "Well, that's one thing Nashville has done poorly is maintaining infrastructure, and it's just going to be really poor here in the future." And then I literally had this question on a tour I was on the other day. They're like, "Well, what are they doing about parking?" And I'm like, "Let me tell you a story, folks."
Well,
The city of Nashville historically had a parking requirement for all new developments, and they recently got rid of that.
Hey, I'm in the downtown area.
Yes.
I'm a fan of it.
Yes.
I am a fan of it.
But other areas of Nashville, not when they don't have sidewalks.
Yeah.
So they're my personal favorite developments that were announced in 2023. Aaron, what were yours?
Okay, so I have a few things. One is part of the East Bank, and that is the development that was actually the first East Bank true development besides the new Titan Stadium, which Titan Stadium I think should be probably everybody's as a whole.
Or some people they don't want built at all. So.
It's not official yet.
Yeah, it's
well,
maybe at this point.
well, yeah.
Well,
So
fine.
you never know. Anything could happen. But that new development that we talked about, that was the first actual development announced for inside the East Bank over the Travel America location.
Atlanta.
That is 18 acres. Just blew me away. I was very happy that they were kind of laying in wait behind the scenes, ready to go, ready to announce it. I'm curious of how many, how long they've had that waiting and ready to go. And I'll tell you why that excites me more than Paseo South. South Nashville, to me, that gulch going into South Nashville area is still too scattered. It's still, not to say that East Bank is any better, but the gulch, it has it all together. But that new area of 8th Avenue all the way over to 4th, 5th, Lafayette, all that stuff is still a long way out from being a solidified new area. So Paseo South, while the buildings are great, the area is going to be very interesting to build on and be around, because the foot traffic there is not the same. So I'm very curious on how that would go. That's Paseo South is not anywhere close to in my top just because of that. The development announcement that also has me the most excited is the land study for the Nashville Stars at TSU goat farm. So that is one of the most exciting to me personally, because I really want an MLB team here. I really want the Nashville Stars to be a Major League Baseball team. So I'm very excited for that, to see what that returns. I also, so we had an episode not too long ago where we made predictions on what was going to be in there in new developments in 2023. One of the things that excites me, this kind of connects all together, about Midtown in that area. A lot of buildings got completed in 2023 in Midtown.
Yeah, or 2022,
late.
you mean?
Yeah, what year is it? A lot of buildings got completed in 2022, late 2021. Midtown, driving through West End to Broadway and that area, like towards more downtown from that West End Broadway split, Midtown is starting to look like, especially going down the West End area, Midtown is really starting to look like a big city.
Yeah, well,
in that area.
Yeah. Well, they just knocked down that building that's across from Vanderbilt, where the old
the Rite Aid and the Smoothie King.
Yep, that building's completely gone.
They just knocked that down to make way for that triangle pie-shaped skyscraper thing. But this does bring me to an interesting point. This fits in with kind of the Midtown conversation. And with that predictions conversation, and it just kind of clicked on something that I would love to see in Nashville. So before we do that, let's head over to is Greg with us?
He is, but before we get to Greg, we need to talk about our sponsor, Blessed.
All right, we got to give Greg. I'm sending Greg far away.
Yeah,
so we need to give him a little bit of time.
He just needs to take some time. Speaking of Greg, he's coming in next week, and we have a few episodes where we're reviewing different Google reviews.
Yeah, so
he's pretty fun.
Yeah, he's going to read from his diary.
But before we get to Greg on the street, because he's taking a journey, we have to talk about our sponsor, Blessed Day Coffee. You can use the code XPLR20 to take 20% off your order today. They also offer free delivery for the Nashville area. You can visit blesseddaycoffee.com. But we need to talk about this blonde rose. This is the Tennessee Sunrise in partnership with our brand Explore.Nash. And this is remarkable.
I am literally
delicious.
Drinking this every morning, right around the sunrise time.
Oh, it's so good.
Every morning, and it is absolutely fantastic. You need to make this a part of your morning routine.
Your day. But you know
if you're like me, your evening routine as well. Just your entire day routine.
So you want to know what I've been doing recently, Aaron?
Okay. What have you been doing?
I've been making some of their delicious decaf coffee, and I can't find it here on their website.
You've been making the decaf.
But every single night around like 7 p.m., I'm just having a cup of decaf coffee. And I'm like, oh, yeah. I don't have to worry about the caffeine keeping me up all night. I can just have a cup of decaf. All right. Greg just contacted me, and he said he is on the location.
Okay.
And
great.
when I say on location, he had to travel pretty far. He's actually out of the city of Nashville right now, and he's in New York City at Times Square.
So I sent Greg on special assignment. I'm glad he landed in the right spot.
He went back in time to 2014.
Do they not have anything newer than 2014 on there?
Let's drop Greg back in. Sorry guys. Let's get a road view.
Okay,
we know that's probably
maybe
more
we'll get a bit of an updated view.
That's
I love that. I love that
situation.
That's because Stuart, you and I went in 2019.
Yep.
What year are we seeing right now?
We're seeing August 2022.
Okay, so that's not too bad.
Pretty close. Greg, he's a time traveler too, guys. I don't know if you knew that, but he goes back in time and sees weird things.
Okay, so this Times Square, you and I have been here. Hub of activity. Honestly, people drive through it. I don't know why. Because sometimes it's just the most convenient road. It's not too bad except for your rush hour times. But Times Square is a hub of activity. But notice a few things here in Times Square. This middle section, can Greg tilt down a little bit with his view? Yeah, this middle block here is kind of like a road splits, and there's a little island in the middle. And what's in the back there? That is an LED screen. So we have an island, an LED screen, 2 roads.
Yep. So
on the left,
there's a road.
Yep.
There's a road on the other side, and there you have these little seating areas. This is where like all of like the people hang out.
Yeah, and
that
then
are in costume.
And then if we turn Greg around,
so
we have a road to the left and right,
and then you have another split.
Converging into one road right there.
Yep.
Okay, this is very interesting because Nashville just happens to have a very, very, very similar design. I don't know if this was on purpose.
Probably was. It probably was. So it's probably the same designer. But hold on, we have to get Greg some time to go back from Nashville. So in the meantime, head over to exploretennessee.com. That's XPLR Tennessee, and you can get yourself a Christmas sweater.
Ooh.
Unfortunately, you won't have it for this Christmas. You have to get it for next year because Christmas is 2 days away. But what's really fascinating is on this sweater, you can't really see it that well. There's the AT&T building and the Ryman Auditorium, and it's in a Christmas tree.
Nice.
So exploretennessee.com to get your sweater, your candles, stickers. We have other sweaters available. Greg is now back in Nashville.
Ooh, okay.
And he is at the corner of Broadway and Division.
All right.
Oh, no. Broadway and West End.
Yes.
Division's the other split on the other side of
So let's take a look at this because it's eerily similar.
It is.
We have, so this view is coming from Broadway in the downtown area, driving into a split. The split is right side West End, left side Broadway. Look what's in the middle here. Can Greg zoom in?
Greg, zoom in.
An island with a V shape, just like Times Square.
Greg.
And what is on that island? An
A
LED
billboard.
screen.
I've been featured on that billboard.
And this LED screen's right on the island. And then let's kind of turn around. And let's see.
Okay, so you have
Broad West. And then, a road, left, right, and then a center road.
And both of these car
right
dealerships
there.
about to be knocked down.
Yeah.
And
so,
then you have this building that has at least broken ground, I believe.
also, is Times Square on Broadway in
I don't know.
New York City?
7th Avenue. Yes, maybe. Is this Broadway? That's 46th Avenue.
Maybe it is. Maybe it's not. I don't know.
It's somewhere.
But like the similarities are wild. I would love to see, and I think this would. We talked about this not too long ago. Downtown Nashville being too crowded on a regular basis. Midtown is absolutely gaining. We got Gregson.
I don't know what he's doing.
He's high up there. I like this view.
I like this view because it gives you a little bit more context. So right here to your left, you have Broad West. This is the split. This is where that huge LED sign is. But look at all of that available space for skyscrapers and even more advertisements. And then you have these dealerships.
So my thoughts are, if we're trying to divert attention away from downtown Nashville.
Is this a bus, Greg? What is that? No, go back. Greg. Okay. Oh, it's just a blue bus. I thought it was like, what's happening with this blue line in the maps?
But if we're trying to divert attention away from Broadway, get people to diversify where they hang out in downtown Nashville, I think it would be very cool if that area right there could be Nashville's Times Square. I don't know a good name for it. Comment below if you can think of a good name for it.
Nashville's Times Square.
But
the square of Nashville.
The split, like everything just seems to work so well for it.
Nashville splits.
The Nashville splits. Everything seems to work so well for it. So let us know your thoughts on that. If we could get Nashville's Times Square over there, it's all the developments would really fit the vibe of New York City in that area. So very curious to see. What are your thoughts, Drew? Do you think that would work?
Oh, I've been saying it for years.
Yeah.
I think I introduced you to that spot when we first met, when we did photography there. And I said, I think this could be the next Times Square.
I mean, it really, really looks like it.
I think there has to be a lot more intentional design. You have to have buildings with advertising on it.
Oh, yeah, you really have to plan that out.
But like that could literally become one of the meccas of Nashville to visit if it's done right.
It really could. Comment below. What was your favorite announcement or thing to see in the development world in 2022 in Nashville? Was it the stadium? Was it the East Bank? Was it Paseo South? Was it something else? Let us know in the comments. Greg the Google Guy coming our way next week. Thank you for listening to Nashville Daily.
To learn more about today's episode, visit NashvilleDailyPodcast.com. And to stay connected, head to our Discord and you can find the link at NashvilleDailyPodcast.com/connect. Nashville Daily is now offering tours. If you would like to take a tour of downtown Nashville, head to the link in the show notes or find out more details at NashvilleDailyPodcast.com.
Nashville Daily Podcast is an Explore.Nash production, copyright 2022.